Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Chat and Chill, the exclusive. Happy Women's History Month. We haven't been with you guys in a while, and this is a great reason to return and catch up with everyone and talk about some of the women in Chicago that are making a big difference, not only in their small circles, but within the city and, some of them nationally, making, ripples that are affecting women and girls everywhere. Women's History Month has been celebrated since about the late 80s. Uh, Obviously, we've been impacting lives since the beginning of time. None of it exists without a woman. And so let's get started. First guest today is Ivy Hall. And the three guests today that we're talking about probably close to, if you meshed all of the different lives that they'd had, probably close to a century of experience. Ivy Hall joins us first. She's got more than 2 decades impacting the lives in Chicago, from CPS to City Hall. She's probably known to many as like the CEO of fun. I think that's what they should title you from now on, and just continues to, breathe life and layers into the lives of Chicago. So Ivy, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us, who are you?
So I'm a girl just from the south side of Chicago. No, I was born and raised here in Chicago. I am currently working in community engagement for Chicago Public Schools. I'm a mom to an 8-year-old, my daughter Aria, and 4-year-old Ethan. But just lifelong Chicagoan. Here, I love the title CEO of Fun. I'll take it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just in my current role with CPS. I was with City of Chicago for 15 years. As many people know me from the festival scene. I'm running the Gospel Music Festival, amongst others. I transitioned over to Chicago Public Schools almost 3 years ago. Was a special projects manager on the CEO team for a little while. And then in November, I just transitioned into a new role in our Office of Family and Community Engagement, where I really get to get back out there with the community and make sure that our stakeholders, especially our parents, have a voice in what is happening with the education system. And so just really excited about that.
The thread I see is service to Chicago's families.
Yes.
Why is that important
Definitely. To you? I grew up and I was blessed to be privileged, but I understand everyone does not have the same blessings that I've had, and so I want to give back. And there are some people that are amazing, like our educators are amazing, and they are doing amazing things in the classroom. That's not my calling. So I want to be in the background, just making sure that everyone has a voice and doing my part there. When I was with the city, I really got a lot of joy out of being able to present opportunities for people that may not have otherwise had them, whether it be for artists, performing at the festivals, or business owners, such as caterers, giving them that opportunity to, cater backstage at the festivals. And so, I like being that person to be able to provide opportunities for others, because like I said, I've been so blessed in my life.
What's the key to getting those interactions right? Because it's easy to say part of the problem in the city is that kids don't have anything to do. Young and new entrepreneurs, like you were talking about, don't have a space to grow. Schools don't have the engagement with community and the city as they should. And those are easy things to say, but what is the recipe to creating those connections that work?
So there are actually a lot of opportunities out here, and a lot of people, doing amazing things. I see Sandy Robinson is on here with Shy Gives Back.
Sandy, yeah.
There are a lot of people that are providing these opportunities. It's just, we need to be out here just making sure that we're providing the information. But really, what I found is, engaging with parents and some of these focus groups is that don't come to me, just giving me information, but really engage me in the conversations to make sure that you're providing, what exactly we need. So sometimes we provide things for people because it's what we think they need, but because we haven't engaged with them, we're not actually giving them the resources that they actually need in order to move forward. So I think it's really knowing who your audience is and really getting out there and talking to them, and really listening, and not just saying, here, we're doing these amazing things for you. Like, that's great. But if I don't need that, it's not really helpful. So I think it's really about engaging and involving.
And that takes a great deal of personal and professional humility to say it's not what I want to do. I want to do this thing. I think you'd love this thing. To, be able to reel that in and say, okay, what do you need?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I think, we're learning that, like the city is learning that. CPS is definitely learning that. Because I mean, we all have to work together in order for the system to be successful. Like CPS can't do everything on their own. It's like we've got to work with, our parents, our community leaders, our faith leaders. We all have to, it has to be a group effort. It takes a village.
And who better to do that than someone with feminine energy, with a maternal instinct? I mean, honestly, all of the traits that seem to make good leaders are often those that are associated with women.
For sure. For sure. Behind every great man, there's a more amazing woman.
Right.
Held the strings and let him on his way.
It's true. What ideally, if you could have any wish come true for the city, what would it be?
Oh, there are so many things in my city. I just want us to come all together and approach healing in the city, like take it as a holistic approach. So all of us working together, sister agencies, private corporations, all working together to try and come up with some solutions, because we have some real issues here. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of homelessness. We've got to just all come together and look at it from a holistic approach to just trying to solve some of these problems. Not one agency or one person can do it all alone. It's really going to take all of us.
As many dark spots as there are, I'm sure, I know that I've experienced these things at events that you've been a part of, but the city does, when it's bright, it's so bright. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago's a great city, and even though there's a lot of, we can say a lot of, bad things about our city. Chicago's truly a melting pot, and when we come together, we really come together. And so I think we have amazing restaurants, amazing food, our various neighborhoods. It's just all about culture. I think we just have a really amazing city. And I think that, leadership, our mayor, our governor have done some great things to try and, keep us thriving, getting us on the, global scene. I will just be excited when we can move past COVID and start to get back to some of those bright spots where we all come together to celebrate, especially like I'm no longer with DCASE, but I love festivals. That's my passion, and happy to support, all the things that they do to bring life and culture to our city, as well as there are a lot of different neighborhood festivals that are just amazing, that really highlight the rich culture of the various, people in our melting pot here.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk, all of us, all four of the ladies, and Daria. I know Daria likes to hide kind of behind the scenes, but I'd love for her to join us too. So we're going to move on to our next guest, Molly Morter. Again, decades in the business of serving Chicagoans, as a marketing executive, as a restaurateur, as kind of a leader in sports, sports field that may surprise some of you. Molly, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today.
If someone was going to describe you, who's Molly?
Oh, that's a good question. Molly is somebody who truly was taught that you can do anything in your life. And so from a very young age, really was empowered to play amongst the boys and be kind of anybody I wanted to be. So I was dancing ballet till the age of 18 and race car driving at the same time. So kind of this dual world that I lived in and grew up in has been able to really give me the confidence to kind of stake my claim in my world and the world that I've created for myself and my family. And but yeah, it's from everything from ballet to world champion off-road race car driver to now working in the restaurant industry and really building a community within Logan Square in the city is what we're up to right now. I'm a mom, as well as Ivy. I have two children. Susie is 19 years old, so she's a freshman in college, and Charlie is a sophomore in high school. So getting to that age of helping my own children develop their own selves and really empowering them to take on whatever life leads them to. So it's been an amazing ride. I feel like I've lived 4 lifetimes in my 46 years.
That's a great way to live.
Yeah, it's been wonderful.
And what a gift your parents gave you by letting you just live.
Yeah, I think all of us, as I'm the oldest of 3, and my 2 brothers truly are creative and build things with their hands and truly all gave us the path and gave us the opportunity to create our own path in a way that wasn't so structured. And I think that is the key to really developing fully rounded human beings of your own. So everything from entrepreneurship to race car driving to kind of finding your own world and being a woman in kind of the world that I've created has been a challenge, but also really a rewarding life that I've lived so far. So it's been nice.
Tell me about the first ride in the car.
The first ride in the car. So race car. So my dad was a race car driver. I grew up on 4 wheels or 2 wheels my whole life, motorcycles and dune buggies and 4-wheel drive trucks. And my first kind of actual competition ride was with my brother. So we had a 2-seater dune buggy and he was the driver and I was the co-pilot. This is all short course off-road racing in the Midwest. I got the bug to do it on my own and do it myself. So quickly after that, being the passenger, I switched to the driver and got my own car and started competing both with the women and the men. And I ended up winning the women's world championship in 1998 while I was at Marquette College in Milwaukee, and continued to kind of progress through my career through 4-wheel drive trucks, the Baja kind of long form racing. And then the pinnacle literally of my career was being still the only woman who's ever raced a semi truck up Pikes Peak Mountain in Colorado. So that's when I retired because I was soon after that had my first child. So as we know, as moms, once you get to a certain point in your life, you birth a child. It's no longer just about you. It's about that other little person. And so putting myself, in that level of danger after having a child has kind of been put in the back burner. But I've certainly found other ways to channel my competitiveness, running marathons and doing roller derby and creating businesses. And so all of that is still in you in one way or another. It's just kind of channeled in different directions once you get, to be a mom and responsibility kind of sets in.
As the first, and am I correct, still only winner of that?
Yeah, these are big, huge semi trucks, a triaxle. It was 10,000 pounds, 1,000 horsepower truck that was custom built for me by Freightliner, and kind of made my way there through a series of different racing types that a team owner found me in a magazine and said, "Would you drive this truck?" And it was a whole ordeal, but it was definitely one of the highlights of my life, and still carry it with me these days. So. It's whenever I get in a situation in my current life that it's challenging and I don't think I can do it, I always channel back, 20 years ago now, to when I took that challenge on and defeated it. So it's a good inspiration.
Yeah. I can is a great thing to know. Like I can.
Yeah. And I think that, again, as I now have a almost 19-year-old daughter, allowing her to kind of have that language and keep that, always the top of her mind, I think is really an important gift to give to the next generation.
I think we all want to believe in sportsmanship, that excellence is, appreciated across the board. Did you find that, or were there people that had a problem?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was interesting because I was a bit of a token, and I don't think it was just about my, excellence in driving. Certainly, I was a good driver, but my brother Andy was 10 times of a driver than I was. But of course, he was a guy in a world where, guys dominate. So being one of, the only women at the time to do what I was doing, truly was a bit of a token for sponsorship, for, eyeballs and people to kind of pay attention to our sport. And so the privilege that comes along with that, obviously there's responsibility to deliver on, the opportunity. But I think I was certainly aware that, that I was being asked to be, part of these teams and part of these opportunities, because I was a woman kind of in a world where there were very few men. So, you take that for what that is and show them all up, and, you go from there.
You live and work in one of the city's most diverse neighborhoods, and that's economically diverse, racially diverse. There's a ton of faith communities in Logan Square.
Right.
It's really a microcosm, one of many microcosms of Chicago, that, our neighborhoods are very unique and very similar in a lot of different ways. What has it been like to not only live in that community, but work and serve the members of that community?
Yeah, it's such a privilege. My husband, Jim, and I, speaking of cultures and different ethnicities, and we live in a cultural kind of icon of Logan Square. We live in an old church that, was been transported into a home now. And we are just so blessed and lucky to have this space. And so our commitment to each other and the commitment to the community is really to do everything we can to give back to Logan Square. And so we've turned our home, into a place where the community can come. And so from music to cooking, to performances, since we've owned it for, the last 5 years, have opened up our home to those type of opportunities for the community. So through partnerships with So Far Sounds, we used to have 80 to 100 people, in our home, sitting on the floor, experiencing amazing young up and coming artists, everything from, soul to rap to, spoken word to, and really allowing kind of the people to come in, because it is such a, extraordinary space that's been part of that community for a really long time. And so we've looked for those opportunities. We do have a pop-up restaurant now that we've created down there. So we host a lot of up and coming chefs. Our latest innovation with Mark and my husband is a gospel brunch. That is honestly one of my favorite events that we've ever put on. And the gospel choir that Mark Hubbard, runs has become some of our dearest friends. And he performed at, my wedding. He now comes to our home every month and performs. And it is truly bringing the community together in a way that we are just so proud of and just love to share. And they rock the roof off of our house. Ivy's been there. And it is just a magical performance, and standing there, it just emotionally, and we live in a church and we celebrate all religions. I'm not a very kind of religious person to say, but being in that space and having the choir there and having the community together under, with that music, it's an emotional reaction that I honestly never thought I would have. And so all of those special moments, come together in that one space. And it's just been an incredible way for us to really give back to the community of Logan Square.
Yeah, I think when I hear those that often from people who don't follow any particular faith tradition, but I think when we're all experiencing the same thing, it's a great reminder that we're more than just
right.
This stuff, and the thing on the inside is the same.
Yeah, and it's so moving. When you look around, kind of this, you sit down and you have a beautiful brunch, and you sit around and look at all the people in the space, and they are different colors and different, walks of life, different ages, everything from 90 to 20 to and everyone is just truly moved by the spirit of kind of the moment, and words and the music, and it's all very powerful. Whether you truly believe, if you're Catholic or you believe in Jesus or whatever it is, in that moment it's just kind of a collective community that just is together and celebrating life, and that's what makes it really special to me.
Yeah. Having people in your home is a really intimate thing, even if it's for as part of the restaurant or facilitating these brunches and concerts. But that's an intimate experience. What have you learned from sharing that kind of intimacy with the young, up and coming, talented people of Chicago?
It's really a special experience for us, for Jim and I, to live in this home, wake up, in the morning, our pajamas, and, sit in front of the TV and do all the things that everybody else does in a home that is just, really different and really special. And it is truly, still a church in most ways. So, my favorite thing is when people walk into our space upstairs and see it and really are taken back, because it's the visual largeness of the space, but it's also kind of the feeling and spirit that kind of is there always. And I think that's from just, it was built in 1888. So hundreds of, 100+ years of people celebrating and mourning, and, and just the emotions that have come through that space over the years are still somewhat there. And so it's a very quiet, peaceful feeling when you walk into our home. And so to have others experience that, and and Jim and I love to decorate and kind of create a space that's really challenging to people as they walk in, because it's, certainly has kind of the huge, Jesus kind of, pulpit kind of thing, and where our living room is, and it's high arching ceilings, and it's very, churchy, but we also have a lot of, different animal heads and different kind of things that truly is, an example of who Jim and I are. So we bring kind of elements to the church that challenge people to think, number one, who are these strange people? But number two, a church can be everything for everybody. And it doesn't have to be that kind of, for many people, kind of a scary place, depending on how you've experienced religion in your life.
That's awesome. I asked Ivy, I'll ask you, if you could have a wish come true for the city, what would it be?
I think I share living there and being in that community, share a lot of the same things that Ivy does. But I think for us, we can't solve the problem as individuals, but we can solve the problem as a community. And I think, being if each one of us who could do our part to open our doors, to showcase how special Chicago is in its totality, the culture, and kind of all the people who are in it. I hopefully in someday that overshadows a lot of the things that, that people foresee as a negative of our city. And I think, as you get out of the city, and my relatives or other people in my life who know we live in the heart of Chicago, there's that perception that it's a very scary, unsafe place. And there certainly are elements of that. And I'm hopeful that someday a lot of that will, be taken care of and go away. But it is it's a structural societal problem. It's not any one mayor's problem. It's not any one neighborhood's problem. It's a collective that's been, perpetuated for decades. And it's so, it feels so big and so large and so hard to overcome. But I think if each of us, can do our part and slowly make those changes and help others and give and be, be bigger than ourselves, I think then all of us will come together and make change. But, we're just so grateful to be a part of the community and be able to have at least a little bit of impact on it, and continue to do that. That's what my hope is.
Awesome. I agree with you and Ivy. We're going to bring in our third guest today, Nikki Hayes, who also is kind of working and not living, but living every day when she's there, serving everyone and part of Chicago history, which is so fast. I did not realize that. And we're going to talk about where Pier 31 is located and the impact of that. But again, decades of service to the city as a labor leader, as a restaurateur and businesswoman, and just a threaded part of Chicago. Welcome, Nikki Hayes.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Nikki, who are you?
Still trying to figure that out. I just recently retired from my job. And so I'm trying to, or maybe not try, usually things just fall in my lap, is trying to figure who the next person is.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had different steps in my life, which have always been great. And now I'm at the next chapter, and we're going to figure that out also.
Everybody knows that kind of thing where you get that tension that you're getting to the end of the chapter. You want to turn the page, but you have no idea what, when you flip the page, what that title is on that chapter page. How do you handle it? Some people are super analytical. Some people are just I'm just going to say yes to whatever is next person. How do you kind of navigate through that?
Well, so far I have been just, if it doesn't feel good or feel right, feel comfortable, I'm at that stage. When you were younger, you took jobs because need, money, family. And a blessing now is that I don't have to do that. So it has to feel good for me. It has to feel good for my family still, but it still has to be something that that it has to really feel good. What happened? Okay, it has to really feel good.
Um, a lot of people in the city know you as the familiar face at Pier 31. I just today read that that's the same beach as the 1919 riots.
That's right. That is Margaret Barrows Beach.
Talk a little bit about the history of that spot.
And it is I always call that our beach, and it will forever be our beach. Even with the transformation that has happened there, I stay there for us because I think it just that history needs to be repeated and told over and over again. I mean, that was the beach that we were not wanted at. We lost lives at that beach just because we wanted to swim and just to look out there. Well, not today, but in the summertime, and you see the sea of black people that are laying out on the beach and in the water and at Pier 31 at the harbors that own boats. It's such a beautiful feeling.
Chicago has a history of segregation. Historically one of the most segregated cities in the country. But I feel like we're constantly the best of us, or the best parts of all of us, because there's, I don't know there's any bad people, but the best parts of all of us keep trying to repair that through community, through service, through, extension of opportunities. What have you seen change in that neighborhood?
Mm, a lot. I've seen a lot change, especially at Pier 31. The the platform that I have created has brought a huge, diverse group of people. I have music from Afro beats, salsa, reggae, and it's the colors that come through there on a daily basis is it's still amazing to me. But music brings everybody together. Music is the joy of life for everyone. I see people that walk up that are alone or with groups, and all of those groups commingle with everyone because through music. And so that is one of my greatest feelings is watching that, just sitting back watching that.
You've dealt with you've had a lot of different arms of business. Tell me a little bit about what you learned about the city when you were working with labor and unions.
Ah, the how you you quoted about being the one of the most segregated cities in Chicago. I've been to all 77 neighborhoods. I've visited all community leaders, churches, aldermen, state reps, and it's still today, it's still, it can be great, unbelievable, disheartening, all of that wrapped up in one. And you just try to do your part. You know, as my mom always said, you can't fix the world, you fix them one by one. And so that is my job. That is what I do every day, is trying to fix what I see that is different, injustice, or immoral, is by doing it one by one.
What do you
But
think?
being in the labor industry is a whole, that's a whole nother animal.
What were some of the? I can't even imagine the list of challenges. I don't even know if I really want to
Yes, you
know,
can. Yes, you can.
honestly. But tell me about a time, or not. It doesn't have to be a time specifically, but like a feeling of where you felt like this may. Why am I here, God? This is too difficult. It's too difficult. Like, what are we supposed to be getting done here?
And that's been many times in my car like that. I spoke with Andy Zopp once, and I was like, oh my God, I do that too. It's like when you just feel like, why am I here? What am I doing this for? And as women, of course, we can't cry in front of anybody, but we have spent many days, hours, minutes in our car going, what am I doing this for? Why do I keep sticking up for people? And I could just go and be happy somewhere. But you gather yourself together, pull them bootstraps up, and you live, do it another day.
Fix your face and go back out.
I know, right? Put your makeup on and go
Yep.
back in there.
I had and ladies, you can all join in. I had a conversation with a male coworker, a very good friend of mine, who I work with at WGN the other day, and he likes to go pick up guests in his car. So, and it gives him an opportunity to create a different relationship with them. So, they get familiar on the way to or from the airport, and he might get a notice about something that they've got going on sooner than anybody else. I told him, I said, you know what? A, I don't think I want to do that. Just check that box. But B, I can't do that. I said, that's a luxury. I can't do that. I can't go pick up, a comedian from the airport. It's a wealth of potential problems for a woman to do that. And he kind of has a luxury and a foot up on relationship building because he can. No one's worried about him on the way back and forth to the airport with a strange man in the car. What are some of the challenges that you've had to kind of figure out your way around, and this is to all of you, using ingenuity, because there's something maybe that there's not anything that we physically can't do, but there's things that create problems when we do them sometimes.
Mhm.
I'll chime in. I think just in my world, my kind of real job outside of St. Emmerich is running a marketing group for a restaurant team in Chicago. So everything from Maple and Ash to Etta and more restaurants across the country. And, and the restaurant industry certainly has had its overall challenges over the last couple of years. But I think, my challenge is being just number one, a woman kind of in of a team of executives, being the only woman kind of at that level is kind of challenging as far as having a voice at a table where, men really dominate, and ensuring that, I have the confidence to truly stand up for myself in certain situations. And I think that's just generally a lot of what we deal with. But I think, as we look at the restaurant industry and women, at the restaurant level, in management level positions as well, general manager of a Maple and Ash or any of my restaurants or any restaurants, honestly, is a really interesting dynamic, because it's certainly something where you have to be strong and you have to have a lot of authority to make decisions, escort people out if there's a situation, really have command of that space, because it's other people's safety. It's the brand that we're creating. It's all the elements that go into a restaurant. But I think I give those women a lot of credit and or need a lot more, men surrounding them, because we have to build a team that can certainly be kind of, enforcing in the moment. And so women in that situation, truly, in my mind and my experience, have a harder time, standing ground in a world where, customers, certainly in our world, customers know best and we're treated to the highest degree. But there are some situations where, putting a woman in a leadership position like that is really challenging, because they have to be able to be respected. And I think for all of us, it is for me, an eye-opening situation. So whether you're sitting at a boardroom table like me, trying to, ensure that I'm making change and ensuring, things are done right, or somebody truly at the restaurant level that, truly has a command of that space, it's not as easy for a woman, in this world, because there's just a different element of a guest versus a server. There's this kind of power dynamic that exists in the restaurant, space. So, I think it's interesting to kind of feel that in my my own career right now.
Nikki and Ivy, it feels like I see a lot of women propped up in, or well, let me rephrase that. It feels like I see a lot of women in leadership positions in the city. Are they propped up as women who appear to be in leadership in the city, or has Chicago kind of been good at placing women in positions to make change? Like, do you feel like the women that you encounter in city business are able to do what they need to get done, or do you feel like often they're there to be a woman in charge?
I think that the city has definitely done a better job of placing women in charge, and there have been a lot of women that are getting things done and are in their proper roles. For example, former CEO of CPS, Janice Jackson. I mean, she is thebomb.com. I mean, she was running the district, and so definitely was someone that deserved that role, worked her way up, and was doing things in that role. And I'm not going to call anyone else out, but sometimes you do see people in roles and you're like, interesting. How did you get there? But I think there have been a lot of really amazing roles, amazing women in roles that they definitely deserve and are doing it, and are where they should be.
And a lot of times I think the women where you look at them like, what, or not even women specifically, but just people, like, they're not supported. And a lot of times women don't have the support to get that stuff done, or it would be a nice look to have a woman in charge. Nikki, what were you going to say?
With me, I deal more with operations with the city of Chicago. And right now there are any women that are in lead in operations in Chicago. They're still antiquated and need to address that a little more. You don't have enough commissioners or deputies that make those decisions. That city of Chicago, the city does run well as far as operations and getting things done. But of course, I think it can run a little bit better if they have more women in leadership.
So is that the result of women not being kind of steered toward that track, or is it the city not seeing available people to hire?
I'm never gonna go that route. That we don't have enough women resumes. No, I'm not. never gonna admit to that. It's always been a man's world. I mean, the city of Chicago, the operations and management has always been a man's world, just like the labor leaders also. So it's, they're slowly changing, but not aggressive enough, because you have to know that there's a problem for you to change it.
Mm-hmm.
and they don't know that. They think this is the way it's always been.
Um, Nikki, I'll
As you
ask you
take
this
your
thing.
deep-seated breath.
Yeah. Collective lady breath. Collective lady exhausted breath.
And Tyra, and I will say, I do feel like the women that are in those positions, we definitely like they are working 10 times harder than the average male in that
Yes.
position, because it's like anything you do is being watched and judged and criticized. And so I do feel like those women are definitely working double, triple time in those roles.
With less
And raising
compensation.
families.
Definitely less
With
compensation.
less compensation. How is that still a thing?
It's really, I mean, what year are we in? It's ridiculous.
I don't understand how to fix that either. It's a math issue. If these people are doing this job and another group of people are doing the same job, why are they not being compensated the same? How does this go on? Again, collective exhausted. It's insane. Molly, tell me about a moment where you feel like you've inspired another young woman.
Well, I think I talked a little bit about my daughter in the beginning. I think that's, my ultimate goal is to inspire her to, truly be herself and make a difference in the world. And she, I've been in the marketing world and PR and kind of, working with big brands. I'm certainly not saving lives, let's be honest. But my daughter, however, I'm so proud because she has found a calling in kind of wanting to study social justice. And I truly believe that she has the foresight and inspiration to kind of change the world, which is, inspiring to me as a mom. But I think just in my career, as I've grown through the ranks in marketing and PR, that is, in some regards, a woman, dominated, at least in the mid level. Once you get to the top, if you look at all the PR agencies in the country, they're mostly run by men. So, I've been able to kind of through my career be able to inspire the teams around me and with me, and and truly I did a lot of speaking and teaching at my alma mater at Marquette, and that's one of my favorite things to do is to get into the classroom and really help both boys and girls, but understand that that your career path and your future are not dependent on any one person, not dependent on any one job, and not dependent on kind of any one moment. So to be able to really inspire young people to continue to learn as they go, and to be truthful to themselves and who they want to be and where they want to make an impact in the world. And I think for me it's been a really both challenging and inspirational kind of time to be able to inspire others to take on their own career paths and really be able to take all those collective experiences and put them together and figure out what that can do for you as you go. And so I think it's been for me, I've touched a lot of women's lives in that regard. And then through my race car driving, I think I've hopefully inspired a few girls to get into the mix and to really show them that that they can do anything in that sport which is completely dominated by men as well.
Ivy, what's something that you've done? I know you're very humble, but what's something that you've done that you made a difference because you did it?
So I too like to just kind of share my journey with like I like going into schools. My educator friends would always ask me to come and be career day speaker for their students, just because the jobs that I've had are not necessarily traditional. So, when you're growing up, I used to say, oh, I'm going to be a lawyer because my dad was a lawyer, or, you want to be a nurse or a doctor or a teacher. And so when I come into schools and I tell people I coordinate festivals or, I coordinate events, they're like, is that really a job? And I think like even, me getting into that career, my passion has always been events. My uncle had a catering company, and growing up, I would go and work, some of those larger events for him. When I was in high school, I was involved in all the student activities and planned our pep rallies and dances. And everything. And so, and even when I went to undergrad at U of I was involved in Central Black Student Union, Buddy Corps. Like, I was the chair of the Assembly Hall Advisory Committee. I did Cotton Club and was the first chair to have Cotton Club at Assembly Hall. And so, I was able to translate that into a career path. And I remember telling my mom, like, what major I had selected. And I was like, I'm going into leisure studies. And she's like, say what now? What am I
Leisure studies, right?
She's like, is that like
I would love to have seen the face of anybody that says leisure studies.
And so, but like, after I explained it to her and she came down for Mom's weekend and saw what it was all about, she's like, oh yeah, that's you for sure. And so, I was able to translate that into something that I loved. When I was an undergrad, I interned with the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions at their international trade show in both Florida and Atlanta. I interned with the Mayor's Office of Special Events, which later on turned into a 15-year career. My first job out of undergrad was as a catering manager in the corporate sector. And so, and now at CPS, I get to, do community engagement, being out there, and I'm running our back to school strategy and back to school events for the district. And so, it's showing kids like there are other career opportunities out here, and you don't necessarily have to look and fit into the box. But, if there's something you want to do, I'm sure there's, you can make a career out of that and, really follow your passion. And so that's what I like to share with others. And I hope that it's inspired, future generations.
Nikki, your career thus far, because we don't know what exciting thing is waiting behind door number 3. But to this point, you have touched people's lives in 2 of the biggest areas, their ability to earn a living and provide for themselves and their family. You help people work hard and you help people play hard. Their ability to relax and be part of community and get to know one another. What have you learned about, how do I want to say this? The best of human nature and what you've observed? What have you learned about people?
Is that people just need a chance. Simple. It just need a chance. Working for the labor union, although we have 4,000 laborers, it was 428 women. And just talking to them, educating them, showing them how to take the test, the interview process, increased so many women in supervision because they never believed. They always thought, oh, they give it to someone else. And I'm like, if you just try, you never know what'll happen, tomorrow. And just watching that process was always great because no one ever gave them a chance or had a conversation with them or told them, you too can be. And so that's been really great. Being at the pier, watching young children watch me as an entrepreneur, all want to do it themselves. I never thought, like, my daughters are great inspiration. I've given them great inspiration. They're doing very well. But then my son, who is graduating from Morehouse this May, he was like, yeah, I'm not working. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. And as a mom, you go, wait, what? And then, then my girlfriends tell me, well, you did it. He saw what you did, and that is what he wants to do. So I don't discourage it. It's just, you have to take that breath and go, okay, we're going to walk through this real slow. But I can be a businesswoman, but I'm still a mom.
Right.
And so just watching those inspirations where you can change people's lives and people say, hey, show me how to do that. How did you start? Where did you begin? And I tell people all the time, there is no playbook, like Ivy said, no cookie cutter job or whatever. You develop whatever you need to into what you think that is supposed to look like. Your vision. Don't let anybody take your vision away from you.
Mhm.
And that's how Pier 31 was created. It was just a stand. That's all it was a box. And now today it's a destination for many people from all over the world that I meet. And so, just giving them that inspiration that, hey, this is where it started and this is where it is now. So don't ever give up.
Yeah, it's on the list of places to visit, tourist places to go from outside the city. So
Mhm.
congratulations. I mean, it's no small feat. And restaurants, as everybody here knows, are one of the hardest things to keep open and running. Mark's going to join us for a second. I think he's still around. Mark Hubbard, our Charlie.
What's
Hey.
up, Angel? What's up, my angels? Got four of them, huh? Listen, I want to come on and say, first of all, happy Women's Month to you guys. Every last one of you all, even our tech person, Dara, who's behind the scene. What an amazing young lady she is. And just say again how much I love and appreciate you guys. Molly, you said earlier that you're not changing lives, but that's not quite true. You and Jim both have given me even more purpose inside of my life and my ministry by allowing us to come and share what we do with your community and with our community as a whole. So again, thank you to you and Jim. We love our new family. We appreciate it. You guys are awesome and amazing. So you are giving people purpose. All right. You are changing people's lives. All right. Nikki, words cannot express. Let me say, I just said this much. From the day we met, you've been real, but you also embraced me, brought me into your world, and it's been a joy. It's going to continue to be a joy. You cannot get rid of me, all right? I love me. You understand? And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm putting out there, Molly at St. Emmet, you listen, we have our gospel brunch, and then in the summertime, we're going to be doing our next showcase series at Pier 31. So listen, we just going to keep doing things. And also, we're going to have series at the same image as well. So guys, stay tuned for that. All right. Listen, Ivy Hall. I call her my first boss because she's one of them short people, but got a big mouth. You know what I'm saying? I have had the pleasure, myself and Rick have had the pleasure for many years to work with her in the Gospel Fest community and Gospel Fest community. Well, we don't have a community, but Gospel Fest, put it that way. And what a joy. She and Reggie can get on my nerves at times, but I love me some I love me some Ivy. She's a wonderful person. We go way back, so words cannot express how I feel and what love I have for you. You already know you're my little sister, big boss, ex boss, what the case be. I cherish everything that you continue to do, even with what you're doing now as a that's with CPS. She's also a wonderful AKA. You know how they're doing great things in the world as well. So with her sorority. So love you, love you, love you, love you. Tyra, words again cannot express. Tyra and I, when I first met her, she was again. I'm not just gonna say that, right? She's smiling nice right now, but Lord have mercy, that the producer comes out. So I never forget I called myself doing PR and had this artist come in. When I tell you, I would never, Molly, you can have it. It's all on you. I always want to set up no interviews, no press run for. I'm good. I was like, now I know what you guys. This is the real world. This is real. She got me together with such grace and elegance. But ever since that, we actually met, serving on the Wade
as judges on
judges.
Yeah.
And we have been connected, and it's such a joy to have you a part of what we do in a part of our life. So myself, on behalf of myself, National Case, our executive board, that's Reggie Air, COO, and our CFO, what's his name? Seth Wilson. And also, you guys, they're also a part of National Case. Ivy sits on the board as director of hospitality. So it's a family affair that we have here. So I just want to come on because I'm getting ready to go and invade Molly and Jim's house, because we're doing our concept video and photo shoot, you guys, for our new single, Not Cry Holy, hint, hint, shameless plug. If you don't have it, go get it. And we're doing it there. That beautiful, beautiful edifice, event space / home. And I knew Sandy was not going. I knew Sandy could not just be quiet. That's my other BFF. Saturday. That's another one. She's a choir storm too, but she's
Yeah.
doing amazing work. Her one, the list, Juan T. The list goes on and on. We'll be on here forever if we check it on every. But listen, this is not the same. This is not the last time Women History Month goes every month for us. We're gonna continue because you guys, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't, for women, huh? Yeah, well, we don't get into animals. We're not gonna get into that. Everybody know what biology is. Okay, you know how we got here, huh? All right. But again, Sandy, shout out to you for doing great work. I need another hotel room. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's just I'm getting some job man on in, right? But again, love you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of my life, Next Showcase Life, Mark Up and the Voices. You all continue to do what you do. You always have 150% support from me and my organization. Again, from the bottom of my heart, I love you guys. Continue to have a great week. And I'm out of here. Tyra is back on you. Love you guys.
Thank you. Well, I want to say, while you all are still here, I was going to do it at the end after everybody was gone, but I'm grateful for old friend Ivy. I've known you for a while. You're always a face I'm happy to see. New friend Nikki, I've known your name forever. I feel like this is the first time we've actually really met or talked. And Molly, what a great, amazing thing. I know where you live, so I'm connected to you that way before you even were in there probably. But what a great story you have. And I'm proud to say that we're all where we are because we saw someone maybe who inspired us, and grateful for all the young women that you guys are inspiring. If you can see it, you can be it, right? And so yay to the next generation of young women that will be making big changes in the city. So thank you for spending your Saturday afternoon with me. We're going to say goodbye to our guests. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you to Mark and Reggie and Next Showcase family for this platform and this opportunity to talk to people and hear interesting stories and find out things about them and what they're doing in the city, because it inspires us to find ways to do that on our own. So thank you. Have a safe and looking out the window, warm as best as you can Saturday afternoon here in Chicago or wherever you're watching. And we'll see you again soon.